on the beautiful, beautiful sunny patio here, and it is what is it, like 60 degrees right now?
Probably
brisk 60.
Yeah, it's a nice 60.
Just forever, right? San Diego is always 60 degrees. Is that
Basically,
kind of
Yeah,
it'll be
for the most part,
75 today probably.
Yeah, warm up a little bit.
My over-under to bring a jacket is if it's under 70, I bring a jacket.
Yeah.
So here I am in my jacket.
With your jacket, yeah. And you do look a little cold still.
I'm warming up. I got this ice cold Piki that's keeping me cool.
Dude, this is very excited to try this. Before we get into it, we are here at Harland. We're at the Bay Park location. I'm joined by Anthony
Levas.
and
Nick Marron.
And guys, thanks for having me in. This is amazing. And a special shout out to my man Nick at Rosemary's. I'm glad he's not on camera. And I'm glad you didn't see that either. So, but no, guys, I'm really excited about this. Harland's been making some great waves in Arizona, and I'm excited.
Good to hear it. Thank you.
that.
Yeah.
It's been fun to see it take off. So very good.
Yeah. So I've got a few people that are jealous of me because I get to come out and do this episode. So, I'm okay with that. I don't mind causing a little jealousy.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's kind of start at the beginning, like with you, Anthony. Are you from?
Yeah, I was born and raised in San Diego.
Okay.
Yep. I got into the beer industry, though. Well, I guess if you want to go back further, I mean, went to high school here about 2 exits north of our main brewing facility. So, right now I live down kind of near San Diego State.
Okay.
Kind of bounced around a little bit, but lived downtown for a while and stuff like that. But really got into the beer industry in like 2011.
Okay.
Started working with Coronado Brewing, which is they're down the street from us here.
Yeah. That's a great spot. I hit them up yesterday.
Cool. Yeah, nice.
Nick was working hard, so I had to get out. And,
Yeah.
So that was your first beer gig.
That was my first beer gig. Okay. Yeah, and then moved on to company St. Archer. Remember?
Yeah.
And started doing sales there.
Okay.
So that was really my first experience was with a very like high paced, high velocity company like St. Archer that was kind of blowing up, and it was a wild ride until that company was sold to Miller Coors in 2015.
Okay.
Which is kind of when Jeff, my business partner, and I started putting together the idea for creating a wholesaler and a brewery.
Okay.
The wholesaler is called Scout Distribution.
So the idea of this was at the beginning, both
very
of those
beginning
to get together.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we wanted to create both a wholesaler and a brewery. I think, just thinking what we were thinking at the time is that like we had so much experience, working on the supplier side. Yeah. We kind of know all the pain points of running a brewery and all the things you need to do to actually get your beer out there. And there's no one we trust better to do it than us.
That's very true.
Is true. So Scout was, we started planning that in 2015.
Okay.
And we sold our first beer off a Scout truck in 2018. So October. Wow. Yeah, October 2018. The first brand we signed was a brand called June Shine.
Okay.
We didn't even have a truck when we signed them, and they didn't have any June Shine. So that was how we got started.
Was it like one of those, like after some drinks, it's like, wouldn't it be cool if we did this? And you guys made, So
my partner Jeff, he knew them and had been connected with them, and so I think he was meeing with them and maybe doing some advising and stuff like that. But we just connected. They're really good dudes, and that's how it started, really. Then obviously. Parallel to that, we were building Harland, so that's where Nick comes in, really. I think.
Well, let's back up a second before you got into beer, Anthony. What was the path for you? Like, were you? Because I mean, for me, until I was 38, I did like 38 different jobs, like one job for every year. So I was all over the place, and until I found food and beverage and content creation. So for you, what was it?
Yeah, I worked for a family business actually. I did custom window coverings and draperies.
Okay.
I was up on a ladder every single day. I was much thinner then.
Okay.
But
I think we all were.
But it was a good gig. I worked for my dad. It was a family business. Worked with my dad and my sister. They're super cool. Yeah. Just when you work with family, it's like it can be really intense.
Sure.
I mean, you say stuff to family that you won't say to like your worst enemy, but then you forget about it the next day. So
right, that's true. And then also like you got to see him on the weekends too.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And like after work and stuff.
Yeah. So my dad's still at it, man. He's still doing his thing and. He loves it. I don't think he's going to quit. He says he's going to retire. I'm like, we'll see. He's an investor here, and he likes to come by and show his friends a good time over a couple pints.
Okay. So he needs to keep funding that?
That's right.
Yeah. So the entrepreneurship is that's in the family?
Yeah, my grandfather started that business in, I think, 57. And then my dad took it over, and I was kind of slated to take it over too, but it really wasn't my passion. It was a good gig, but for me, I wanted to do something bigger, and I think like led me to where I am now. Yeah.
Were you a beer drinker, like a craft beer drinker at the point? Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I got really exposed to craft beer like through right before I went over to join Coronado.
Okay.
So it wasn't like I wasn't one of the first ones to the party, but
Yeah.
I was played in bands and stuff. We drank a lot of like whatever we get our hands on and stuff. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, craft, stale craft,
Yeah.
Warm beer, doesn't matter.
Whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, so now Nick, you're from San Diego as well.
Yeah, so I was born in San Diego, but
Okay.
I moved around a lot as a kid. I lived in the Bay Area for a little bit, in Salt Lake City for a little bit.
Okay.
And then I ended up back in Orange County, so in San Clemente, South Orange County.
Gotcha.
Went to high school there. The plan was always to be a music teacher.
Okay.
So in my senior year of high school, I had like 2 non-music classes and 6 periods of music. I had orchestra, bands, theory. I aided for the band teacher. Like that's all I was ever going to do. So graduated high school, went to SDSU as a music major, spent several years there. Didn't graduate, but
Had fun.
yeah, I mean, it was a great time. Learned a lot of stuff. But then, so while I was going to state, I got a summer job at Pizza Port in San Clemente.
Okay.
So I started making dough there, and then became a pizza maker, and then eventually a kitchen manager, floor manager.
Like any reason why, like that particular spot?
My parents went there all the time.
Okay.
So they were like
Yeah.
regulars. So they were like, you should work here. And I was like, all right. I mean, I don't
Get a
care.
discount,
Whatever.
Nick, you get a discount.
Oh, 100%. And then, all the money was in bartending. So I kind of, that was the next logical step. And they kind of, as part of the program over there, they make you go through a brew day to be a bartender. So
Okay.
I got interested in beer kind of, just by being around it a lot. And then, I mean, it really ended up being like, I saw the parallels with music and, the science aspect and the art aspect to making beer. And so I started to be pretty into it. And then
Real quick though, back up. What do you mean by that? Like the parallels, like what are some of the parallels you see?
I mean, so music is they're very similar in the sense that like without a strong, foundation based in technique and based in, all of the metrics and the science aspect of it, you can't be successful.
Sure.
But it allows for a creative outlet as well, where you get to do all kinds of stuff that, live outside of the rules and stuff like that. So
I dig that.
yeah, so it was a kind of a natural kind of progression, and so while I was going to state and while I was in my my practicum class where I was I had to go out and teach at schools, and I like started dealing with parents a little bit, and it was like I was starting to hate it honestly, and it was like
Sure.
it was like going to school was making me hate music, so I was like I gotta stop doing this, I gotta like get out of it, or else I'll hate this thing that I have done for my whole life.
Yeah.
So then I saw on Instagram, my favorite skateboarder, Paul Rodriguez, post a picture of a brewery, and I was like, this is weird. This dude, what's going on here? So I found out, that St. Archer was coming around, sent an email to the info@ email address, didn't hear back. 4 months later, get an email that says, hey, we're having a party tomorrow night. Can you bartend for it? And I was like, I mean, sure.
That sounds about right, actually.
Yeah. And I mean, I was like, all right, sure. Yeah. And so I went and started as a bartender there. And then I got moved to an assistant brewer pretty quick. So I was an assistant brewer at Pizza Port at the time, and then assistant brewing at St. Archer.
Nice.
I was there. So I think Anthony was like the 6th employee. I was like the 7th or
Okay.
8th. I was like right after. So stayed there through 2018. So I was there for 5.5 years. Started as an assistant brewer, left as director of brewing.
Okay.
And then, I mean, when these guys had this idea for Harland and for Scout, they asked me to come over and be involved, and here we are today.
Here we are with wonderful beers in front of us, and now we can appropriately talk about the beer, right?
I say we do that. This is good.
So do you want to talk about this one, Nick? This
Yeah.
is because you said that. Now I misquoted when I told Nick. I'm like, are they going to start sending this to Arizona? You're like, well, yes, but
Yeah, we are. So I mean, as far as like the calendar that we do
I'm ready for you.
we do our core lineup of beers out there in cans and draft, and then we're going to start always trying to have a sour available, and then overlapping with that will be an IPA as a specialty release, in both cans and limited draft. So this would be part of the IPA series. But I'll let Nick. I mean, this is Nick's wheelhouse here.
Yeah, I mean, these beers are fun. The special releases we get to do are exciting. I mean, we love all the core beers that we do all the time too. We're actually big fans of all of our beers, which I'm happy to say that I genuinely like drinking everything we make.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Peaky Mai it's Peaky Mai Cascade is the hop. So it's really American Cascade, normal Cascade that everybody's familiar with, but it's grown in the town of Pikimai in New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of our beers are based on New Zealand hops because we have like a really strong relationship with our hop supplier out there, and their products are just ridiculous. I mean, they make all of our beers so much more interesting than they could be without them. And so this beer specifically, I mean, it was kind of an ode to older IPAs.
Sure.
Most of what we make is pretty modern. Like we kind of say that our West Coast beers are clear and dry, but the bitterness is restrained. We still make it so we want to be able to drink a bunch of them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a modern take on the West Coast IPA. This one is kind of a real West Coast beer. I mean, it's got, Simcoe and Pikimai Cascade. So, that's like a classic, Sierra Nevada type hop combination, Cascade, Simcoe, right? I mean, this one's more bitter than we ever make them. And, it's still dry. And I think the Cascade from New Zealand is really cool because it has what I imagine Cascade tasted like when it first came out.
Yeah.
By the time Cascade came to me and I was drinking, it all tasted like black tea and pine trees. And so I was like, ugh, Cascade, gross. And then when our supplier was like, no, try this Cascade, and we smelled it and we're like, oh man, it's like a tropical fruit bomb.
Yeah.
So this beer is kind of it's a blend of old and new and flavor profiles that are familiar, but, kind of a modern take on some of it as well. Just a throwback beer for us.
I dig it. I like the design as well. Like, because most of your cans are light, right? This one's got the dark to it.
It's pretty rad. It really stands out on the shelf, which I kind of like as when it's the new beer on there, your eye is kind of drawn to it. So it's pretty rad that we can, mix it up a little bit. It still stays true to who we are and it looks like what we do, but at the same time, it's totally different. So.
Yeah. I like it.
I'm glad you like it. I like it too.
Anthony's like, see, that's why I had him talk about it.
Totally.
So you guys had you said your partner Jeff, have this idea like let's make beer and then ship it ourselves and then ship other people's beers.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the idea.
Yeah. So how did it like start to evolve and like start to gain traction?
Yeah, really. I mean, we raised money privately just to get up and running. And I think once the train left the station, there was really no going back. I mean, we had a couple trucks. We started with, I think, 3 salespeople, me being one of them. I was running a route for Scout Distribution. Yeah. And we were literally, I think we might have connected with some friends to help us make the first batches of Harland. So we were literally pouring samples off of a kegerator in one of our business partners' garage, going around to all the accounts, like, selling our beer. It was like, it was a it's definitely one of those founder stories where you're like, oh yeah, those guys put in the work. Yeah. We had to do everything. Everyone had to do every single job. I mean, from sales to delivery to whatever it took to get the job done.
That's the core of what craft beer is, though,
yeah,
right?
For sure.
Like you were saying, like the parallels between music. I grew up in, like the steel belt, the rust belt, like super blue collar. And that's why I fell in love with craft beer was it is super creative. There's so many, especially with these cans, all the art that you can create with it. But you also have to have that foundation. You got to put the work in. Like you can't just say, have a cool idea and then just show up for 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like
that's definitely true.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't fake. I don't think you can fake your way through this industry. It would be very hard to, I guess you could.
Right. Yeah. And so, I mean, really at the beginning, like I said, the first brand we signed was June Shine. Harland was, we were getting into, a lot of accounts right off the bat just because of our relationships we had in the past. A lot of the people that we hired on the Scout side were former employees that we had worked with from different wholesalers, and then just like some all-stars from the distributor world.
Yeah.
And so we had some strong relationships just right off the bat, which was super helpful. Yeah. And then the brands started coming. It was like, and then all of a sudden we were like, okay, now we need to slow down. Like, not that we ever signed a brand we didn't want, but it was like, okay, we really need to like think this through and what's the path here and which brands are not duplicative of, within our book so that we can have like a really nice balanced kind of book to sell. So
not just say yes to everybody.
Exactly, because we're going to be able to put more on the truck. It was like, so that was the plan, and we grew it. I think like responsibly and really steady. Yeah. And then Harland's become like such a big piece of it now. It's amazing to watch that brand grow. It's so different than what we did at St. Archer. It was that was like a total. It felt like the company was redlining all the time. Okay. This has just been steady and really good, and we're like being really methodical. I mean, Nick, I give him so much credit for just like planning out the brewery expansion and everything we need to do from that standpoint, and being able to give the people what they want.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, and you're right. I mean, St. Archer, we were moving at breakneck speed all the time, and it's not like we're stunting growth here, but we're just trying to do it as organically as possible and just letting the growth happen. And it's crazy because we're still on pace we grow 100% year 1 to year 2. Yeah. from 3,500 barrels to 8,500 barrels, and then we're on track to do like 14,000 barrels this year, almost another 100%. So I mean, and it's like we're not like out there forcing it. It's just people are liking the beers as much as we do, which is
well,
always
one
exciting.
thing that I think that really kind of, I don't know, maybe kind of like set us on the path that we're on now is like right before like the pandemic hit, we started making some like pretty creative and unique beers that were not like typical beers that you might have had somewhere. And I think, I mean, Nick and Ryan Alvarez, our head brewer, just like, I mean, I think that was Ube the first one maybe, or that was one of the first.
Yeah, that was like the third specialty beer we made.
beer.
The first unique ingredient beer.
Someone was telling me about that. So explain what is the
maybe
Ube beer?
you can tell the story. 'Cause that's a good story.
So I mean, a little background on just kind of what we do, but so all these beers that you see and all the stuff that goes to Arizona, we take very seriously, and we want to make sure that these quality standards are exactly where we want them, so everybody's going to love the beers. But we also have a small pilot system where we do wacky things all the time with goofball ingredients and interesting techniques.
He always calls it goofball ingredients. I like it.
I mean,
that's got to be a beer name, right? Goofball ingredients.
We put some weird stuff into some beers, but it's kind of it's rad because we get to do all this stuff that is true to style and we love and everybody loves, and then we get to do some stuff that not everybody will love, and people are it's going to play well in certain arenas and maybe not others. So kind of the first time we did that was a beer called Ube Milkshake IPA. So we were my wife is her family is from Guam, half of her family's from Guam, so we were out there visiting. She's also our chief of staff, so she's involved with the business as well here.
Is that her?
Yeah, she's sitting over there.
Yeah. I haven't met her yet. I have to introduce myself. Yeah,
she's the best.
So we were out there visiting, and we went and had these Ube donuts, and they're this incredible purple color with this like insane cake character that it smells and tastes like a vanilla cake, and it just has like this crazy kind of super dessert forward flavor profile that I hadn't had before.
Yeah.
So while I was out there at a 17-hour time difference or whatever it was, I was texting Ryan and I was like, I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we got to make a beer out of this. Like I don't know what it'll taste like. And he's like, all right, let's figure it out. So
not the donut, it's with the
ube. So ube is it's a purple sweet potato.
Okay.
So it's it doesn't, you don't think it's gonna taste like it does knowing it's a potato, but I mean it's pretty insane. And so we found a way to do that and make this beer with coconut and this hop that has this coconut character, Sabro, and then with the ube as well. So we it really like was this new flavor profile that I don't think many people had done in beer before. Yeah. And up until then we had sold small can releases, but they weren't crazy popular. Like they do well, and we'd sell them out 60 cases in a week or so. But this one we were canning it. And so we'd never done like a limit off of these beers, but we were canning this one, and literally as they're coming off the line, people are lined up at the door buying cases. So like the beer was sold out within like 10 minutes, and it was, in that whole day, everybody was coming in to drink it afterwards. So the cans were sold out in 10 minutes, and then we sold the entire 10-barrel batch that day, and it was crazy. It was none of us expected it to be like that. I remember in meetings, Jeff was specifically, he was like, are people going to know what this is? Are you sure this is a good idea? He
was concerned.
And I was like,
probably.
I was like, it'll be fine. Trust me. Like, people are going to love it. And then ever since then, when we say we're going to make a beer with this, he's like, all right, I don't know what that is, but let's do it.
That's awesome. Well, that was the reaction of people last night when someone said, is Ube coming back? They're like, oh, really? Then I think someone just overheard. They're like, Ube's coming back. Yeah. So it's got that fan following.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely become like our one of the things we're most known for. Yeah. And we've done a lot of beers that are kind of island inspired based on that, and I think it wasn't like we ever set out to do these beers specifically to fit into this, or appeal to this group of people or anything like that. But it was really just like, my wife Naomi's family had these desserts and these foods, and I was like, these people don't make beers out of these things. We should, and it was kind of like an homage to, her culture and stuff like that. And that was kind of the reason we made them. And then, now it's like, we experiment with all kinds of different stuff, and we just made a beer with haichu candy that,
that was good. Yeah.
I mean,
that was really good.
We do all kinds of weird stuff nowadays. Yeah. So, it's like, it's fun because we get to use these ingredients and showcase them in beers that I don't think, otherwise people might not see them. And it's also really expanded our fan base, because we're getting people who want to try an ube flavored drink. Yeah. Not necessarily craft beer fans, but they want to try this ube beer. So it's really like drawn a new demographic to our tasting rooms, which has been rad, and I think it just kind of expands who we are in the county and in Southern California. So
I take it,
It's
man.
been very cool.
Yeah.
Right around the same time too, we switched from like a 12 ounce can to a 16 ounce can, which was super helpful. I just think and we moved to like the stickered can so we could be more nimble and be able to do a label
you
in
had-
2 weeks.
You had 12, like when Harland started, it was 12 ounce.
12 ounce six packs, yeah, and we just
Okay.
kind of I don't know, just it didn't feel right.
Yeah, I mean, we were on a shelf next to St. Archer and, Coronado was
Point,
making a ton of beer and Ballast Point and stuff like that. And we're like, we're small, and when we're new at this and we're making beers that are, uber crafty. Like we want to be next to, Virgin and Modern Times. And it was like, well, I mean, a 4-pack 16 ounce is going to be the way to do it. And we're going to just by nature of being, on that spot of the shelf, it felt right for us, I think. And,
Definitely.
it was obviously a good change. I mean, we were selling more beer, the volume increased, and it was good for us. And yeah, I mean, the 16-ounce can blank with the sticker has been like a crazy smart move for us because it's just made it so much easier to be seriously as flexible as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because I just realized this recently, but we opened the tasting room at Scripps Ranch in November of 2019, and, the pandemic got into full effect in February, March of 2020.
Yeah.
So we were really open way more during the pandemic than we ever have been pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
So as soon as the pandemic hit, we had, 20 beer ideas for the year, and we were shut down for on-site. So me and Ryan are like, all right, I guess let's just start doing them. So we went through them in 3 months, and we were like, all right, we're out of ideas, better get new ones.
I mean, they were doing releases every weekend. It was crazy. It was really fun. I mean, it was fun to see.
People were digging all that.
Oh, yeah.
They were lining up around the building. It was. I was I remember taking photos, going what is going on?
Yeah.
This is amazing. I just never, I'd never seen it or experienced it like that before. So it was very cool.
It was rad. It's crazy to think about, how cool it was in such a not great time, in the world.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was, we had a lot of fun during that time.
It was a strange time. It was a very
Definitely.
strange time because for some people, like my wife and I, that was the biggest growing time ever for us and our kids, and but then it's just the craziest of time if you could even,
Yeah.
Yeah, we never
explain
we never stopped coming into the office or coming into the brew. We never had a day off. We just kept going.
Yeah.
We had to. So
Yeah. Well, let me back up a second. So why Harland? What is the
name?
Yeah.
The name. I mean, I think it was just a name that sounded cool.
It sounds super cool, and it sounds like it's been around forever, in the branding and everything.
Yeah, the
That's-
branding,
yeah.
the original can lockup was done by this designer in New York, guy that we're familiar with from past projects and stuff.
Yeah.
Super good dude. And rad kind of he can really do that vintage kind of classic look really well.
Okay.
And then we started experimenting with some different can lockups, like the India Pale Whale here. You can see, just
Which is a great name, by the way.
I think that was kind of just one of the brewers made a pale.
It was a
pale-
draft only beer for the taste room, and it was a pale ale. And so because Ryan, our head brewer, also came from St. Archer, and 2 of my other guys came from St. Archer, so we never named any beers over there. So now when we're trying to come up with names, a lot of times it's this is so annoying. We don't know names of beers. We don't do it like that.
Yeah.
So Ryan was like, I don't know, let's just call it Pale Whale. That's kind of funny. And then we made it, and then people the beer. We loved it, and then we were like, we need a West Coast IPA in the book, so we kind of bumped up the ABV a little bit, and we're like, all right, now it's India Pale Whale instead of just Pale Whale.
Yeah. I dig it. Well, and I mean, that's the thing too, is your guys' cans, when we started seeing them in Arizona, the cans really stand out. And it shows, I mean, it's very, I don't want to say professional. I don't think that's the word, but it's very clean, deliberate.
It's
very
intentional.
impressive.
It's intentionally very we try to keep it super clean.
Yeah.
And just recognizable. I mean, I know there's the India Pale Whale is a little bit of a departure, but we've got some plans to maybe roll out another style that would kind of have that same lockup. So,
Okay.
But then we use that kind of classic pill shape on most of our stuff. And then the collabs are kind of just co-branded, and we have a little more fun with those because they're just usually tasting room only. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So all right. So one thing I noticed, so in Arizona, in the state of Arizona, I think there's 110 breweries, right? In San Diego County, isn't there 200? Something like that.
I mean, I don't know. Last time I counted, it was 180, and that was 3 years ago. So probably.
but is that so does that count for one as Harland or 4? Because you guys have 4.
No, we're just
tasters.
one brewery.
Yeah,
still.
just one brewery.
So
Yeah.
one of the okay. So
Yeah.
What I noticed is a lot of places have multiple spots.
Yeah.
You guys have what, 3?
we have
4?
3 with the 4th on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're expecting the 4th one in June.
Any day now.
Any day
Nice.
now.
Well, if you want to fly me out for exclusive,
Yeah, that sounds good. We're gonna do food there. That's our first. The place came with a kitchen as part of the deal. The guy's like that. The landlord's like, got to keep the coffee going in the morning, and you got to serve food. And we're like, sounds like a deal.
Yeah.
you guys gonna do coffee in there.
We
too?
are. Yeah.
Nice.
We're gonna do coffee. We're gonna do. It's gonna be simple, but very, very. Like you were saying with our brand, like very, thoughtful.
Yeah.
Elevated a little bit, but still like affordable for the neighborhood. It's going to be like a really cool neighborhood called South Park. A lot of like very walkable for a lot of families, kind of like we are here in Bay Park. So we're excited. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I like the simplicity too because it's this kind of just light bulb just went off for me. It can be overwhelming, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can be overwhelming when like branding, and I love it. Like I love the just you have a brewery that has 8 different beers. And you can't tell that they're the same brewery, right? And it's cool, and it's like, oh, that's cool, that's a cool idea. But there's I don't know, there's a sense of ease about coming in and just the way everything is. I mean, the white walls here, like it's peaceful. It is a very peaceful spot. Yeah, I haven't been to any of the other tap rooms of yours.
They're all like a little bit different, I'd say. Like,
yeah, it's kind of rad because we do have a different feel at every tasting room, and it really like. I don't know. It makes it so that it's not boring to go to multiple. I mean, you can go to One Paseo, our first tasting room we opened, and it's very masculine and dark
I feel like a man
colors
cave
and,
or something. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then you come here, and it's very like airy and bright and
my
San
gosh.
Diego. I mean, it's like you're outside but not outside. It's so it's a totally different experience. And then the brewery is kind of classic brewery tasting room. It's industrial, and you're in the brewery, so it's has that feel. And South Park's going to be another little bit of a departure. It's still going to be kind of similar to this one, but it's going to to be different still. Different color palettes and
There'll be a vein that runs through kind of all of them, at different touch points. But it's going to be. We're excited.
So why is there? So is there a reason that like because I think Virgin I saw has multiple locations. Pure Project
Pure's they're really making a push. I mean,
San Diego is in such a neighborhood focused city.
Okay.
So I mean, it's because and it's almost because there's so many breweries that people want to go where it's close to. You know what I mean? It's like, why am I going to drive all the way to the middle of Miramar to drink beer when it's like I have if I live in Bay Park, I can go right down the street. So
yeah. I used to live right by Pure's spot in Bankers Hill. So I mean, I would have certainly walked there if it was open at the time that I lived there. But I mean, definitely walkable. Nobody wants to be drinking and driving.
No.
Guys, let's
No.
keep it clean.
and we don't encourage it.
We do not.
No. Have a great time here.
Yes.
And also, I mean, just for the confusion aspect, I drove last night not drinking, and it was confusing. So you have to have all of your functions.
That's right. That's right.
Now I want to. So like I said, this is the only tap room that I've been to of yours. I love it here.
Oh,
and
thanks.
I mean, I got to give a shout out to my man Nick over
Oh,
there
yeah.
slinging those sliders.
Sliders, some of the best sliders I've had. And I told him that.
Holy shit! Last night he overwhelmed me with the food, and I couldn't finish it all. But so I met Nick. Nick would set up at a Strata Food Truck would set up at Simple Machine Brewing, which is right. up by me.
We follow those guys.
Yeah. We got to do a Harland Simple Machine collaboration.
That sounds cool.
For sure.
That sounds cool.
So Nick, I mean, how you can't not like Nick, right? He's he doesn't leave you alone. Right? So,
He keeps plying us with free sliders. Every time I come here, he's like, "Hey, dude, have 2 of these. 2 more." I'm like, "Dude, I've already had 4 sliders. Thank you." It's amazing. No, thank you for your generosity. I'm just kind of joking, but but he does really keeps it coming.
yeah. Well, last night it was pretty cool to see. I mean, because he was, I think he gave me one of each of the sliders, and the lamb was like my favorite until I had like the I don't know. There was a tandoori. No, that's not right. What was it? The Bombay.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, and that wasn't even on his menu. I was like, dude, you got like a secret menu? Is this like In-N-Out Burger? Like,
You gotta know what's up. You gotta know the secret password.
Well, so it was cool to see a few times people come up and they're just kind of like, oh, what do you got going on? And they buy a slider, and then 3 minutes later they come back and buy 3. Right? They're like, holy shit, that was the best thing I've ever had. And the blue cheese fries with the bacon. So you guys hit the nail on the head with Rosemary's.
Yeah, we're happy to have them. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
for sure.
Are you making us some food right now? Well, so what's the vision look like for Harland? Like, where do you guys want to see this thing in the next few years?
I mean, I see this year being like, we've talked about it a lot, but like just the amount of growth we're going to experience this year, like we're putting our heads down and just focusing on like building out the infrastructure in the brewery to be able to take the growth that we're hoping to experience, and just keep pushing. I mean, I think, keep it fresh with like rad specialty releases. Keep getting more and more draft handles out there, and really working with, we've for the first time we hired 2 sales reps, one for Los Angeles and one for San Diego, that have been out there and just like absolutely crushing it. So I just think like, there's so many avenues we're going to sell a lot of beer. Hopefully having people out there supporting us in the trade is going to be helpful. And then we have the best wholesaler in the game. So that's also pretty exciting.
I think they're going to be a guest on the next episode, actually. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Thank you for setting that up.
Yeah. I made a couple calls. And then, I mean, just keep it fun, man. It's like, if it's not fun, it's not worth doing it. And these guys have so much fun doing what they're doing. I see the excitement, and just having those, we do special, big, events and releases. And I mean, Ube Day this year is going to be one of the best. So if you want to talk about it a little bit, I think it's kind of a cool touch point.
Yeah, I mean, so we've kind of every year that we release Ube, it's kind of been bigger and bigger, and more and more people come out, and and there's kind of a lack of a big kind of rad festival in San Diego.
Okay.
So,
which is surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, at least with all these like kind of super super popular breweries from around the country. So, there's a lot that we've been invited to. And so we go out, I'm going out to Miami in a couple of weeks to go to Wakefest out there. Nice. And then, we went to Pastry Town in New York City in November. So, we're trying to do something kind of along those lines where we get all of our friends to come out and have a rad festival. So Ube Day this year is going to be, it's an invitational festival. So we have, like 35 breweries coming out here, and, there's going to be live music and vendors and food. And, it's really just going to be just like a rad party, so we're pumped up. It's gonna be in September, and it's gonna be a good time.
Okay, all right.
Might have to fly back out.
I'm gonna clear my calendar.
All right.
I don't know if you have a specific date, but I'll clear the whole month.
Okay, just clear the month. Start with that, and then we'll keep you
Because
posted.
I'm sure you guys could use some podcast to promote it, and then a podcast after. So I can tell my wife I could be out here for about a month.
That sounds good.
Harland
I
think it's a good call.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Well, just to kind of wrap this up, you guys talk about coming from St. Archer and that kind of breakneck speed, and now you have this, and it almost seems like you're able to enjoy the journey. It's like pacing itself in a way that you can, like, this is awesome. This is awesome what we're doing right now.
I talk about it with Jeff sometimes. Sometimes we don't slow down and go like, wow, this is so cool, man. Like, we're just always moving. But I think we have had a little time to reflect and just to see all the, the fanfare we're building thanks to the, the creativity of the brewers, and just, getting like rad place, being on draft at your favorite place to eat dinner. It's a fun thing to go experience as well. And like, it just, Arizona's been great to us too. I mean, the team out there is like really pushing and from on the wholesaler side, and hopefully the beers are well received.
They are. Yeah, I got multiple messages yesterday when I was posting stuff, and they're like, "Dude, you're there." I'm like, "Yeah, sorry, man."
It's only a 6-hour drive. Come on out.
That's it, right? 45-minute flight. That was the shortest flight I've ever been on. That was a real joy. It was, because I had middle seat, because I forget to check in, right? So I was getting like that shitty seats.
Oh man.
Yeah. But no, this is great. You guys are. I really love what you guys are doing. I talked to Nick a lot, and he loves this brand and what you guys represent and just all of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you've got a fan base in Arizona.
That's so cool. Yeah, no, it's so cool. I love going out there and working the market and going to see the accounts, and it's just like, we're building out there. It's been good though. It's been really good. So we're excited.
Awesome. Anything else you guys want to throw in about Harland? Because we have the guys from Scout. They're going to be here.
They're going to be here in a minute.
Set up.
Turn my hat backwards.
He's going to take his jacket off for this one.
No way. It's almost 70 degrees. It's not there yet.
Anything for as Harland, like as far as like, did we miss anything? Anything else you want to tell people about Harland?
Nick.
I mean, I think we covered it pretty well. We're just doing it, and
we're still pretty new, what I mean? So it's like we're just like, sometimes, I mean, I think we're just like, every day is like unique. Every day is different. Every day we meet so many times a week. Just, I mean, you and I have like at least 2 meetings a week, and then 3.
Every time we sit down, we're like, we try to be so strategic with the plan, and we'll sit down and we'll be like, well, the last quarter didn't happen anything like what we thought it was going to. So, all right, let's try to get this one right. And it's all like good problems that we have and good misses on the guesses and stuff like that. But I mean, it's fun. And, I think that part of the culture that we've developed has been just so like it sounds like cheesy, but like really family oriented. I mean, and in the sense that like, you know, on a Thursday afternoon, Jeff and Anthony are out drinking beers on the patio. So, you know, if whoever bartender or scout driver, you know, comes by and has a beer with them, like that's what we do. You know what I mean? And it's not, it's like we're so close and we all believe in like working hard and getting the job done so that we can all like have a good time after. And that's, I think it really happens that way. And it's just been rad to build.
That's like absolutely true. Yeah. Like everyone's always hanging out outside of work. I mean, we have bartenders that come in on their day off to have a beer with the rest of the staff because they like it so much. So
you don't get that very much in any industry.
We're
really,
we're just hoping to like Nick, just to touch on that. What Nick said, like we're hoping to build something that like people appreciate being a part of and like really, really enjoy, and let's have fun. Like I said, let's have fun doing it. You know,
for sure. How many employees do you guys have? How many employees does Harland have?
Across we have a holdings company that has like the wholesaler and the, I don't know exactly for Harland. I think it's somewhere in the 80s, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Between 3 locations, soon to be 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
So.
All right. Well, let's. The scout guys are breathing down my neck.
How much?
I hear they're kind of aggressive.
They're intense. Yeah, they're intense individuals.
No, thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining. I'm really stoked to share this episode, and
I'm so excited. Yeah, can't wait to see it.
Awesome. All right, guys.
Thank you.